Good afternoon, everyone. I am Daniela Medina Poch, conceptual artist and performative researcher. I greet you from Berlin and I hope you're healthy and well. Some weeks ago, when the corona outbreak exploded, I quickly understood we were entering a new normality, which strongly motivated me to imagine other possible worlds for the so called AC time or the after corona time. Coronavirus is reaching every corner of the world. It is demanding an unprecedented effort from all of us. And I ask myself, how are we supposed to fight it collectively when not including everyone in this fight? Specifically, why are we excluding the 3.5 million irregular asylum seekers of the globe? Today I bring three case studies from the Iberian peninsula to hopefully show other possible worlds in regards to migration policies. I include both bottom-up and top-down references. Now, over history, the pattern of blaming others for disease and politicizing the epidemic echoes through different occasions, from yellow fever to the bubonic plague, from polio and tuberculosis to influenza in the early 20th century. Foreign communities have been blamed in a repetitive process of making vulnerable the most vulnerable. In some ways, COVID-19 is not an exception. What is interesting now is that while administrations such as the one of Donald Trump was establishing a European ban and referring to the pandemic as the Chinese disease, or Hungary blaming Iranian migrants and pushing a totalitarian government, Portugal decided to treat all immigrants and asylum seekers as citizens. So what happened here? Since March 31st, at least the beginning of July, all immigrants and asylum seekers who have pending cases at the Foreigners and Border Service and who are in the Portuguese territory have been granted a temporary residence permit. This means that an estimated 35,000 people have now access to the same rights as other Portuguese citizens, including national health service, social support benefits, signing of employment contracts, opening bank accounts, and contracting essential public services. This is huge and unprecedented, and to be honest, actually quite fundamental. What remains as an open question still is what could happen with immigrants who are not in the system and how long will this measure last? Certainly, this policy, along with other intelligent measures adopted by Portuguese, have brought positive outcomes to a nation with an underfunded and not sufficiently well-equipped health service, a nation with the third largest over 80 senior population in Europe. Portugal has been able to keep a mortality rate under 3%, in contrast with neighbors such as 15% France, 14% UK, and 11% Spain. Under a humanitarian lens, this has an enormous value, and there's certainly strong ethical reasons behind it. As Claudia Veloso, the spokesman for the Ministry of Internal Affairs, mentioned, people should not be deprived of their rights to health and public service just because their application has not yet been processed. Also, under a pragmatic point of view, the inhumane and unsanitary conditions of refugee camps make them a highly contagious point for coronavirus spread. As the case of Singapore, where 88% of the 14,000 cases were linked to dorms housing migrants. Other assertive measures from Portugal include the sense of national unity and understanding that this is a time for collaboration and not political position. Also, the tremendous solidarity and autonomy assured by citizens while prioritizing health before economy. The second case study emerges through the inspiration of Portugal and it comes from below. It takes place in Spain. Hashtag regularización ya is a trending topic, a media campaign that contains a letter addressed to the Spanish government. Launched on April 12 by anti-racist citizen organizations who gathered the signatures of 1,130 relevant institutions, it claimed the urgent demand for the permanent and unconditional regularization for all the 600,000 migrants and refugees in face of the health emergency. Regularization is not a question of solidarity, but of social justice, said the letter, which included 12 specific claims and demands. Migration affects every dimension of human rights, including civil, social, and economic rights, and the exercise of citizenship. Therefore, migration policy must put at the center the care for life. It is the responsibility of the state to guarantee the rights of all the people who live in its territory and to develop appropriate policies to achieve this goal. The Spanish state is asking us to stop this virus altogether, but we cannot fight it starting from such unequal positions. In order for all of us to overcome this health crisis, we have to do it all together on equal terms. As I read about this campaign, I felt the impulse to start a similar campaign in Berlin. What does it take? On a practical level, a WordPress site, which gathers ideas and demands for collectivity, which is then distributed by social media. But most importantly, it requires the belief and the conviction that structural changes are possible. The imagination of such possibility, which is what references such as Portugal, Regularización Ya, and hopefully also Italy and France, with their ongoing petition processes, are able to offer us as examples. Within social media, the campaign reached the realm of journalism, and through it, the letter arrived to the government's attention. Unfortunately, so far, there has not been a proper answer. When José Luis Escrivá, the chief of Social Security and Migration, was confronted with it, he gave a mercantilist answer which avoided the topic of irregularity and the petition for immigrant rights. Apparently, some political parties are now supporting the claim. Let's see what happens. The third and last reference, from an artist angle, does not specifically belong to COVID times, but I want to bring it to show the potential of bottom-up initiatives which meet up with top-down policies. It is called Too Much Melanin by Catalan artist Núria Güell, one of my favorite artists. It was a project developed for the Gothenburg Biennial, where she hired a political asylum seeker to play hide and seek with the Biennale's public. The asylum seeker had emigrated from Kosovo due to the local conflict, and her asylum request had been previously rejected twice. The only condition within the contract that the artist offered her was to hide from the public, so that the public would look for her. In this way, through the contract with the Biennial, her permission to reside legally in Sweden was successfully processed, and she could finally stop hiding. The world is changing very quickly, but politics take too much time to change. Through top-down cases as the one in Portugal, or bottom-up initiatives as the one in Spain, we can begin to conceive the possible range of actions we can take in order to achieve our collective survival. The last reference, the work of Núria Güell, can hopefully inspire us as artists, urbanists, or architects on how, through the frame of our fields and acting beyond them, we can also influence the context in concrete and powerful ways. I will finish with another beautiful statement by Regularización Ya campaign, which says, we are currently facing a historic opportunity for social recomposition and for placing as priority social justice and the preservation of life. Let's assume this challenge in an inclusive, integral, and human way. Thank you.